All right. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the London Open session on Thursday, April 9th. All right. Today I'm feeling a little bit better than previous 2 days, so maybe I will bring up some more energy to the party. So let's work out the context for today's trading session and what's salient. So from the daily perspective, buy sell liquidity here is prominent. Daily relative equal highs. So we had a large range day yesterday. So far very small compressed range since Asia. We have this week, premium week, so I will annotate that. And previous day's high. Is this a suspension block? Yeah, it is. Okay. Sorry, high fever still. Alright. Hello, good morning, Candy. Welcome. Nice to see you. Thanks, actually, thanks. It's a really struggle with that last couple of days. But yeah. Over time, it should get better. Nonetheless, we have the hourly chart, this busy in here. Alright, and the 15-minute chart bellwether. So generally, I think higher is still possible or more likely. So I will now go back and try to frame smooth buy sell liquidity. So the session just started here at 2 a.m. and I will go back, actually preferably on the 1 minute, squeeze that a little bit and look for very smooth area in price. So something will be definitely seen here, this buy side. Yeah, so that's the buy side that I'm watching today so far, giving it a try. And assuming that it might be the London Open draw. I'll take this off for now. Okay, also now what I wanna do, I wanna check the macro here. Okay, look how the sell side here was engaged and made target like this. I would preferably not want to or need to come back for this. I mean, if it's bullish for this session, maybe a day, I don't think we need to come back to take out this low. That's what I'm trying to say. Because that's a very nice pierce, rejection, and now building up higher towards possibly this buy side here would be the point of interest. But nonetheless, let's see what the price action will bring. Alright, also from that point on, I will be annotating every smooth relative equal level from 1 minute, 15 second to 5 second, basically. So today we'll be doing something slightly different, toggling back and forth through the time frames. And maybe focusing more on those little high frequency scalps or something like that. but preferably going long, in my opinion. Alright, I will also post the context on the Telegram so I can review it afterwards. Alright, so I posted that for context. And now let's go back here. So we traded back into this inefficiency here on the 1 minute. Now let's see on 15 second and 5 second. So the bodies are respecting the upper half even though we were in the lower portion on all time frames. And yeah, we have those smooth relative equal highs here on the 5 second. I would wanna watch and see respect off of this down candle here, if it's actually going to send it higher. This would be the order block. So far banging a lot inside of small little range, so not the cleanest market conditions. So what this is actually a market maker sell model, and now I'm watching that if it could fail, right? Because I'm more bullish for this session. Not saying that it will 100% be like that, but that's what I'm observing at least. And if that's the case, then I would like to see it fail to clear those lows and trade higher, right? So far it doesn't offer me enough signatures to go blindly on it, but nonetheless the upper half of this 1 minute inefficiency being respected with the bodies would be ideal, and some measure of displacement higher out of it. If it rolls over lower, that's fine too, but then we would anticipate or require some rejection of this low. If that doesn't happen, then the bias might be challenged and maybe changed. Okay, took this low out, it traded outside of this inefficiency but failed, and now trading in the upper half. Alright, close this whole inefficiency, but yet the bodies are respecting the low of that BC. So that's interesting. Again, if we measure from the low to the high, we are at the lower quadrant of the range. So if the market maker sell model here would fail, it could do it in this area. But yeah, it doesn't look like it will, to be honest. It looks kinda heavy still, but the fact that the bodies are respecting this inefficiency and not closing below it is something that I'm king off of right now. And then we have this weak here, consecutive encroachment. That's what I want to annotate. So because price went below it, it should act as premium, right? So as long as on the closing basis we are below it, I believe we could still see the sell side being taken out, but if we can climb above it, then preferably the body should stay in the upper half of that BC and above this wick, and that could send us towards those relative equal highs here. So the only reason what I don't necessarily like about it here is about is the fact that it's spending so much time inside of this inefficiency, and so it's kind of slow. So some measure of displacement and like clean, precise movements would be welcome, because right now we are forming this some sort of consolidation and relative equal lows in here. So that's always something that could have been taken out here. So we have relative equal lows right there, this and this, and that might be taken out. And if price does takes this out, then it could accelerate for the relative equal lows here, right? At least that would be the opportune time for it. If it fails, then yeah, maybe we can start looking higher, but so too much time in imbalance. So that's just like a red flag in here so far. But it did poke below this low, so now if it's good, it should accelerate and clear those lows out. If it's going to reject, it also should be like very like quick and sudden and climb above this. This is potential inversion for value gap here. So as we went below it, now it might act as resistance, and the lower half could be sensitive to send price towards the lows. That would be reasonably expected, but let's see. Alright, so I like this little signature here, that it closed below but opened above the consecutive encroachment. Still eventually it closed below, so I'm thinking these lows are prompt, and then we'll see what we get. Still relatively cool lows being formed and engineered. Price is messing around back and forth. Lower half of this inversion basically still means those relatively cool lows might be potentially there. But let's see. I can check the ES, and ES did made a lower low already. Damn, ES looks super sloppy though. I mean spotty. Interesting. But ES made a lower low, while Nasdaq didn't do so. So that might be some SMT type of divergence here. But if that's the case, this low should not be taken out, but it's still kinda 50-50, I think. Alright. Tapping into the upper half and into this weak consecutive encroachment, closing above. If it's bullish, I would like to see it response really nicely higher here. So this should act as bullish again. So now I'm watching for sensitivity here. Quickly traded to the lower half and close below, so that's not it. I think it could still trade lower. Alright, so messing a little bit from the start. Alright, climbing back above this again, but it has to show sensitivity to this upper half and to this weak. So a body close at the high, at the weak, at the consecutive encroachment, and then a reaction would be considerable as bullish. Buy side is here, obviously. Sell side still residing there. Okay, touch to this weak, but then completely disrespected. And it's all spending time inside of this inefficiency. So that's like trouble area in here. That's, I think, where I would fail if I would be trading this. So alright, right now it also is taking relative equal highs in here. So if it's good, if it's bullish, it's really like needed to be like very drawn up above those relative equal highs and like keep expanding. Any rejection here would probably lead to sell side liquidity. So that's what I'm watching right now. This small little fair value gap in here, that's before the run on the buy side, could act as inversion if we go below it. This kinda looks like a bull flag here after buy side was taken. So it might be a false one. Alright, so it's trading into this inefficiency here, and I'm watching if we can like go below it. Maybe use it as inversion and run for the lows, because we've taken buy set here, absorb that, and price is rejecting that lower. In my opinion, that's not that bullish though. But at the same time, we are touching to this consecutive encroachment from this week perfectly and running away. If we would like expand and displace above this high, then probably this would have been a more important low. But so far the price is really like tight and overlapping inside of this small little range, and yeah, in my opinion the sell side makes more sense here after what they did so far. So trading lower, take out the lows, and then we would kind of like watch and see whether it would want to continue below those lows or maybe reject them and trade the other way. But let's see. Still a lot of candles, a lot of price action, a lot of wicks in here, so therefore price might have like difficulty going through that. So I traded to a bearish order block here, reaction, and now in my opinion it should stretch towards the sell side if it's good, but it's spending a lot of time inside of here, so it's really hard to trust this price action. All of these candles are overlapping back and forth inside of this small range, and that's why it's so difficult. These are not low resistance liquidity run conditions. Good morning, don't you, Christian? Hello, welcome. How are you today? Because the markets are not being very uh, pleasant to watch so far. But let's see. So yeah, it's kind of just moving sideways between this low and this high right now. And yeah, I will move to the 1 minute, and it looks like this. So initial leg higher, take out buy side. This was a market maker sell model that so far failed to deliver, but didn't also deliver the opposite side by any significant means. So it's still kinda iffy. I personally would prefer to see it fail and trade higher, but it's not giving me any solid technicals that I could like use and lean on. So still waiting for some better clue. Yeah, maybe the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. silver bullet today would be or will be better, because yeah, we haven't seen much movement overall since Asia and London so far. So they are definitely keeping the move open as it is. So we'll see. I like how the bodies here on the 1 minute stay inside of the upper half of this inefficiency. I like to see that as potentially bullish, but it would need to start moving in some more displaced manner, because otherwise we are just stuck inside of this back and forth price action, which is very difficult to approach. So when it's like that, I don't want to trade. So eventually, I think it will trade outside of this range, right? I don't think it will stay the whole London session inside of this little consolidation, but so far, I need to give it some more time. And yeah, the London sessions lately weren't or haven't been very fluent and clean. So a lot of high resistance liquidity run conditions we've been facing. So the buy side was taken most recently here, therefore the sell side could be potentially next. But yeah, that's looking very 50-50. So nothing really in here that I like. Alright, so some larger range in here. Let's see if it can continue and snap below those lows. Yeah, there we go. So we got the relative equal lows in here. And now what I want to see, what I want to study is whether there is any continuation below that. This fair value gap here on 15-second, I like that to become a potential bullish inversion fair value gap. So as the sell side was being taken out, here, if we could climb above that, I would potentially expect a run towards the buy side here, here and here. But what I want to see price go above this and respect the upper half. Nice close above consecutive encroachment here right away. but falling out of the bed. That's fine. It was never inversed, so there was never something to do about it here. So watching where it could still go if it wants to go lower, then this area in here makes the most sense. Volume imbalance and fair value gap coupled together. That's about 10 handles lower. And yeah, if price does not inverse this level here, then I believe we could slide towards this inefficiency. We are stopping at the consecutive encroachment of this week here also. So let's see if it shows any sensitivity. If we break below it, then it's kinda showing that it's bearish and it's seeking lower prices. This area in here also might be interesting at a later time. So these highs are technically relatively equal. If they can sell side relatively equal lows right here, but so far price shows no real willingness to do anything about it, which to me it suggests like exploration slightly lower. On 5 minute we have this inefficiency here, and I will add to note that, because yeah, 5 minute is higher in hierarchy than 1 minute, so that's where a higher time frame inefficiency is. And if we can like respect the upper half of it, I would say we could see higher prices right from here, because two large pools of sell-side liquidity in form of relative equal lows were taken out. We made a lower low into a 5 minute BC, and we couldn't even reach the consecutive encroachment. So that's pretty bullish, I would say. I mean, more bullish than bearish at the moment. So again, if we can climb above this 15-second potential inversion fair value gap, then I'll be thinking about potential long. This also here is a breaker, this last up candle. So yeah, patiently waiting. So far it traded up into this inefficiency but failed to inverse it, so it's not really there. It also left relative equal highs right here. I will remove this inefficiency because it's making the chart a little bit busier than it needs to be. We do have relative equal highs right here too, and I will take those out. Alright, another attempt to inverse this. Alright, so the bodies should be staying in the upper half in here. We also are taking relative equal highs at the same time, so that's what I don't like to like rush into this and go long, because that's basically a breakout above relative equal highs, and that's not something I want to be buying. But I'm looking for more intel, basically. Not very obvious. There is also this 5-minute CB or bearish fair value gap in here, in the counter to this BC. So it's really looking 50-50, kinda. I don't see this like very obvious one-sidedness that I can state that, alright, this is super obvious and super one-sided. It's going here or there. At this point I don't have it. I kind of feel like it could go either way still. This is like taking relative equal highs and offering a bull flag. So this is really like not something I want to engage. It could fail. Alright, I don't know, it looks kinda suspect to me. Not the cleanest price action after all. So if it's like that, then I'm cautious. Right, so it did smash the buy side liquidity here off of this inversion fair value gap. Not the cleanest, but it did deliver nonetheless. So interesting to note that. We've taken the buy side here at the equal highs, and we have those the larger buy side right there. But yeah, again, I don't like the price action here. I just don't feel comfortable with trading this. It's not showing the signatures that I like to see, and that's an issue, I would say. So it kind of looks like it could fail, maybe even here. Alright, so let's watch this CB here on 15-second chart. The buy side was taken, come back inside of the range CB, and in my opinion it's suspect. Those lows are suspect now, nonetheless. Traded to this once, only with a week the bodies couldn't stay. It looks heavy. Yeah, it kind of looks heavy. It kind of looks like this low is suspect. But if that's the case, we should not close above the CB at all, and it should just roll over and deliver the sell side. Interesting though. Interesting price action. Seek and destroy. Alright, so now back to this original inversion fair value gap. If it's bearish, it should smash right through it. On a closing basis, I prefer, and then attack those lows here, and that would make sense, and that would, to be honest, set some bearish tone, I believe, but let's see. So yeah, it's about to smash the sell side liquidity here, nonetheless, I think. And this whole run up looks like a trap in a sense. So yeah, I guess there was a reason why I didn't like it to go long here, and it went higher, yes, but look what it did afterwards, right? It completely smashed that run up. So yeah, this is basically on a basis on a market maker sell model here. Original consolidation, return to consolidation, reaccumulation around the buy side, smart money reversal, low risk sell, distribution, takes out the sell side here, original consolidation, low, very close to it. I would suspect it should be taken out. So yeah, I don't know, the way the price delivered so far, pretty sloppy, I would say. A lot of consolidation, time distortion, then we pull up a run up that's completely overlapped lower, and both sides aren't really that clean, in my opinion. Gun to my head, sell side was slightly more precise, but both are pretty equally not as clean, which is generally hinting tricky market conditions, which we are definitely in. So the sell side is being taken out here, and now we have three options basically. We can continue lower, we can consolidate, or we can reverse. And now I want to see and judge which one is actually the most likely in the cards. We are also going into the silver bullet hour in here. So I would expect some measure of movement, but let's see. So the buy side liquidity is here right now. Sell side has been taken again there. On the 1 minute grand scheme, we could see this volume imbalance being potentially drawn to. So let's annotate that volume imbalance specifically. Those are now relatively equal. Alright, so far I favor lower to consolidation with this. Let's see. We have a nice fair value gap here. So if we were to climb up into this mountain, I will annotate the reference points I would like to see being respected or important. This should then give way. But this volume balance and this fair value gap here, you would need to be able to close above them if it's going to at least try to trade higher from where it is. But again, very tricky. So we got the volume imbalance on the 1 minute in here, and now let's see if that can cause the price to stop. So generally the market tone that I'm seeing so far is more bearish, I believe. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually start trading lower. And maybe even challenge this low, right? Because that's a very, very obvious low. I at the beginning said that I would prefer not to see taken out if it's bullish. But if it's not bullish, then that makes all sense, because that's where the sell side is. Now let's see. So generally, or usually, if it's very bullish, after we've taken sell side like this, the price doesn't really spend much time uh, in a consolidation like this. They just usually just like purge it and then reverse like quickly, and price is really like moving, gaining traction and doing stuff, and it's happening fast. In here, it took the sell side and it became very slow, consolidated, and not really in a rush to go higher at all, which, yeah, that's observation on my part here. So I'm basically not as bullish anymore as I was initially going into this session, and yeah, we might see lower prices as we go. And where the sell side is, it's below this low here. So that's, in my opinion, where the price is most likely heading right now, obviously until proven otherwise, but that's something what I would assume. It traded to and through this volume balance. It formed also a SIBI here on 15-second, and this is important because it's a displacement lower after we already have taken sell side, so this should be like sending it lower towards the sell side here quickly. At least that's what it's kind of like hinting. So taking this low out into the slow, no rejection type of price action, and then displacement lower, that's not bullish. That's something that promotes the opportunity to see lower prices, which we might see. But this SIBI at 316 and 30 seconds should stay intact. As long as it's not violated, this low and slightly, and some below is possible. At least that's how I see it though at the moment. So yeah, I'm trying to manage my expectations, as I went into the session with some consideration of potential higher prices. Hello money glitch, but the price action wasn't offering me anything really that could allow me to look for higher prices, right? So I kind of needed to adjust, and yeah, it didn't offer anything proper on the upside, and it's actually exploring the downside a little bit more for today's session, which, yeah, if I've been trading with my bullish stance, I would take losses for sure. But because the price action was so lethargic, so slow, so unorganized, so not precise on the upside, I couldn't find anything to lean on to go long. So that kind of saved me. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, tough markets for sure, but good training opportunity and gaining experience, I guess. So Look how this fair value gap was traded up into, and the body's perfectly respecting the lower half. Then displacing lower, it should be exploring those the sell side liquidity here below this low. And taking that out basically concludes that I was wrong on my initial expectations for the session, but along the way I was able to manage the expectations to at least not get hurt. I didn't trade it, but if I would be too eager to like go long just because I was thinking that it's actually more bullish, right, then most likely I would get either chopped because this was very choppy price action, or stopped out. So either way, probably a best case scenario for being wrong on the direction and still managing to not get an entry, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, me personally, I would like to see it already take out the relatively lows. I wouldn't be comfortable on holding anything if it closed above this fair value gap here. So this is the line in the sand. It's either delivering the sell side right away, or it's just playing around. Also, those relative equal highs in here are making this a little bit tricky or trickier. But yeah, it went very close, failed to deliver the relative equal lows yet. It could still do it, but it's difficult to manage any either high probability new entry or the position if you were short. So right, so let's see now as price is trading back inside this range, and let's see how far it can climb. So far it traded above those two CBs on a closing basis, and I'm watching if either of those can get inverted actually and used as inversion for value gap. There was one here too. So in my opinion, right now it looks like this low might still be the target, but we just see like some sort of a bounce, some sort of a retracement, some sort of a rally up to go lower. That's how I interpret it right now, personally, because yeah, I don't see like a strong climber so far that wants to climb and really like go higher. Yeah, it can't find any support on those uh, levels that it went up pretty unorganized price action so far. I mean, this run lower was nice, or reasonably nice, if you would expect lower prices, right? But if I was expecting higher prices, then I either change my mind on the fly, or I just uh, don't participate in this Bannister. At least that's the protocol that I'm usually using. So yeah, I believe because we are part of a larger consolidation, that's why we see what we see in the price. And also the fact that previous day was a very large range day, that usually also like puts some difficulty on the London open session by nature. So these are kind of like the underpinnings why we are seeing pretty difficult conditions during this London open session. And yeah, clean up this chart a little bit more. So yeah, looks like that was indeed a bounce to go lower. Still a little bit more needed to go, but it's probably in the cards. So this CB should send it lower below those lows, and that was some sort of like a turtle soup here, and drop lower. That's not a lot of a range overall for current volatility. That's like 20 handles. It's respectable. It's 15-second chart, but nonetheless, that's not. We haven't seen like very large range session so far today. Anyway, so it touched perfectly to the low. I personally would like to see it trade still a little bit lower, and that would be something to watch. As long as price is below this CB, I'm thinking lower low could be in play. We'll see what we get. Nonetheless, yeah. Alright, there we go. So we got the run below the sell side slightly. Some little bit more would be reasonable. And yeah, so basically if I were from the beginning more correct about the potential draw, then I could probably find few opportunities to get in line with the shorts, but because I was looking completely at the opposite spectrum, I wanted to be long, not short. Therefore I just couldn't find anything because price went lower eventually, and yeah, that's how it is sometimes. So today I was definitely wrong about the expectation direction for the session, or bias for the session, which, yeah, I guess it's fine as long as it didn't hurt me, but yeah. Alright, so I don't think I would like to do anything else during this session, as I was wrong about this bias today, and it delivered the opposite side. Therefore I will need a little bit more time, maybe next session, to like recoup and see how price delivers later on. The potential targets on the upside are still there, so they are open to be traded to, and yeah, we'll see. So this will be it for today, a little bit shorter, but yeah, I don't have anything else for today, and that's going to be it. So see you tomorrow, last London session for the week, and next week we will be moving to the New York pre-market, and hopefully it will be better. So thanks for watching, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.